Is creating better content one of your goals for 2024? Well, give me the next couple of minutes and I'm going to actually walk you through a problem-solving framework that my student says has made creating power content much easier. Now, if you have been following me for a while, you know that my power content framework consists of a headline, a promise of value, a CTA, most likely for a value bomb, a humble brag, and then the content piece followed by another CTA for people to ask for the value bomb. But where a lot of my students were getting tripped up was, what do you actually put in the content, or like what we like to call it, the meat and potatoes? And so this is one of the 3 frameworks that I designed for my private clients. And this is something that I haven't taught outside of my programs. And so this is the problem-solving framework. And I'm going to actually show you guys how easy it is to actually transform these questions into content. And I'm going to give you guys a real example of how I actually use this. So I always tell my students, answer these questions first, okay? What is a specific problem that you solve for your prospect, okay? Be as specific as possible, because a lot of times people are confusing situations with actual problems, right? I'll give you an example. So if you are a consultant like me and your clients are struggling to go from $5,000 a month to $25,000 a month, well, that's a situation. That is not a specific problem. That situation is caused by a whole bunch of small problems. And that is what we actually want to solve inside these power content videos. A lot of you guys are trying to solve way too big of a problem. So we want to make these videos as easy to digest as possible. Keep in mind that people only really digest about 10% of what you say in a video. And so if we give them one small thing and base that video on one small thing, they're more likely to digest the information that we actually need them to in order to move forward. So that's the first question. What is a specific problem that you solve for that prospect? So going back to that example, if I have a client who's struggling to go from $5,000 to $25,000 a month, a problem could be, well, they've got a huge Instagram following, but they don't know how to turn that following into actual clients. Maybe they don't know how to take someone from a DM conversation and turn them into phone calls. So those would be micro steps that I would base this power content video on. So second question, how are they trying to solve that problem themselves? Number 3, why is that way not working? What's your solution to the problem? Why does your way work better? And then, of course, my favorite, the resource that will get them to that solution faster. Okay, so this is going to actually make up to be the body of the content. So I'll actually show you how this actually works. So here's a real example of one of my own pieces of power content. So problem number 1, leads from their webinar are not booking a call. It's a very common problem with a lot of my prospects. So what are they currently trying to do to solve the problem that's not working? Well, they are testing new ways to pitch their offer every 300 leads or so. So every time 300 leads come through their webinar funnel, they're switching up their offer. But why is that not currently working? Well, because usually once I dive into the metrics, it's not their offer that's the problem, because people aren't even hitting play on the webinar and actually seeing the offer. My solution to this is a $5 ad that promotes an easy to digest PDF that gets leads to raise their hand in the comments. Why does my solution work? Funnels have a ton of friction. This takes the friction out of having a conversation with people. And what is my resource that will help them solve the problem? An SOP that has the script template for that $5 ad plus the step-by-step setup in Ads Manager, okay? So that's how that exercise would work for me, but what does that mean for my power content video? Okay, so I'll show you guys. So this would be the content part. So let's work on the content part right here. This is where these 5 questions are going to come into play. So I'll start with my humble brag so that you guys can see how we could actually move into this. And I'm going to do this through flow of consciousness. So I might have a couple of hiccups, so I'll show you guys how this works, okay? So for those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Laurel Portie. I'm the owner of adcoachingfor7.com, where I have now taught over 10,000 coaches, consultants, and service providers how to launch budget-friendly $5 and $2 ads in order to enroll more clients into their program. Now, the number one problem that most people have when they come to me is that their leads from their webinar are not booking a call. A lot of times what they're doing is every 300 leads and they're not getting sales, they're switching up their pitch. But here's why that doesn't work. After digging into their actual ads manager and looking at their funnel, I'm finding out that the problem isn't their actual offer. What I'm seeing is that people aren't actually hitting play on their webinar. So we have to figure out a way to get people through the rest of the funnel. So my solution for this problem is a simple $5 ad that they run to the leads that they've already paid for, meaning the leads that have already opted into that webinar. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to promote that webinar in a PDF form and make people raise their hand in order to get that freebie. The reason that this solution works is because funnels have a lot of friction. If someone has to go through a webinar funnel, they have to opt in, they have to hit play on the webinar, they have to watch the actual webinar in order to see the offer, and then they also have to book time on someone's calendar. They have to fill out an application before they actually get on the phone call. What if my solution allowed them to actually have a conversation immediately with the lead? That is what this $5 ad does. Now, I have put together a resource of what this actual $5 ad looks like, and I put it into an SOP along with a step-by-step framework of how to put that ad together. Drop me a line below this video and I will give it to you. So you guys see how that worked out for my actual content piece. Now, all I have to go back and is write my headline and promise of value. So my promise of value is going to be my solution plus their problem, right? So my promise of value could be, over the next 5 minutes, I'm going to walk you through a $5 ad that easily converts webinar leads into booked calls, right? So that would be my promise of value. So you see how I'm literally just going into these 5 questions and pulling out the power content framework and using this. So this is a very powerful framework right here. And so what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to put this inside the $7 a month program. If you are not a member of my $7 a month program, why the heck not? It is only $7 a month. Plus you get access to me, all of my tools, and 2 Zoom coaching calls every single month so that you can actually start to see progress, not just watching a whole bunch of content and never getting things done. So if you would like to be a part of my $7 program, here's your invitation. Go to adcoachingfor7.com and I will see you on the inside.